So we're back to that first Cubase project. It's now time to try and record something in. So I want you guys to follow the procedures that I'm going to go through here and then actually record something in yourselves afterwards. The method that I'm going to show you for setting this up is something that I've arrived at after teaching Cubase for a long time, a real number of years at point blank. And what I noticed is that certain students struggle with some of the flexibility that's there in Cubase. So I'm going to give you a rigid set of procedures to follow before you start working. Let me take away the Halion one. The first thing I'm going to do is get you to turn on snap. That's on at the moment by default. We're going to drop down here to bar. So make sure you've got your snap and your grid set to bar. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in on the project window. And what I want you to do is to focus on the area from bar 1 to 3, 2 bars in length. So we're going to take the left and right locators and we're going to pick these up and move them so that we've got bar 1 to bar 3. That's the area that we're going to be working on. So we're going to record something in fairly soon. The other thing that I want you to do is to come down to the transport and we're going to put the click on the metronome so that we can hear the pulse of the rhythm coming through whilst we're recording. Also check that the pre-count is on here. Now this gives you a count in before we actually start recording. So you're going to get 2 bars counting to get ready. You're going to understand where the rhythm's at and then you can start playing some stuff in. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to keep the auto quantize on. Now, I don't always recommend you do this, but as a starting point, I'm going to say let's put it on. This means that when we play stuff in, if we play stuff that's out of time, that it's going to bring it to the closest grid position that's in time. And the grid that we've got set at the moment is 16th. And I'm going to recommend you keep that. So that's your quantized grid. We're looking at that stuff in detail next week, but for the moment, just keep it to 16. The other thing to do is to choose a tempo that you feel comfortable with. A lot of people when they're starting off struggle with the higher tempos. So why don't we actually take the tempo to a fixed 100 BPM. So I'm going to double click and do that. So 100 BPM, nice and slow. And also come over here to the left hand side. We've got basically the way that we can choose different recording modes. I'm going to recommend merge and also mix. That's the one that we have here. This means that you could actually loop the section over 2 bars and create a single part and put all of your new stuff into that part. We could even stop recording, take a break, come back, add some more. It's going to go into the same MIDI part. It's going to be a nice, easy way to work to start off with. We're going to put cycle on. I'm pushing the slash key on the number pad. You can see the symbol down here is on the transport. So that means it's going to loop from the beginning to the end. So 1 to 3, it's going to keep looping around here. So it's going to give us some nice space to record a beat in there. Let me find the sounds on the keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to record something in. And to record in, what we need to do is to get the cursor, which at the moment is just before bar 2. We push number 1 to take it to the beginning. So we go to the left locator by pushing number 1 on the number pad. And then we have star on the number pad, which is your record button. You can turn this on. It will count in 2 bars and then it's going to start recording. We can also, whilst it's actually recording, push the star button again and stop it recording, but it will carry on playing. Then we can audition some new sounds to put into the actual programming. And then when we're ready, we push the star at any point and we can record. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you. It's a really nice, flexible way to do it. So here we go. To automatically quantize the timing, I'm going to take the recorder off now. Let's try and find some other sounds to put on top. Something like that I think is going to work. So let me get ready with the star button again. Take the star off. So you notice also the color changes. It's not red anymore. Let me find another sound. So when you're recording, the track is red. Also, the part takes on a darker tone of grey. going to record that extra tom in there. Let's stop. Let's have a look. So here is the MIDI part, because we had merge and mix. Everything's been placed into that one MIDI part. Double click on it and we can see the key editor. The key editor is a visual representation of the MIDI data that I played in. On the left hand side, we've got the piano roll, which is showing you the actual notes that I used. Because this is Hattie on one with a drum kit, basically this isn't actually musical notes that we're hearing, we're just hearing different drum sounds. There is a different drum sound on each key on the keyboard. So you can see here C1 is the kick. We've got various sounds on different keys above. So the red bars represent how long I was holding down the keys for. Also the timing, the position in the grid when I actually played them, although this has been quantized afterwards. Before it would have been a little bit messier. So you've got the note lengths. Also the heights down below of these bars represent velocity. So we're going to be looking at all of this information in the lesson now. We're also going to be looking at it on another video where I'm going to show you where you can view the data in more detail.